Alondra Espinosa, and I'm from Mosaic 1781, which is a supporter group for Angel City, Los Angeles, and WSL team. Mosaic 1781 celebrates the diversity in the city of Los Angeles and really stands for the empowerment of all women. I know, just looking at myself, if it wasn't for other women kind of helping me, supporting me, and really opening the doors, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so today we're looking to kind of just honor the history of soccer in Los Angeles and talking to one of the women who opened the doors for soccer in Los Angeles. So without further ado, I have with me Val Henderson, who is a former UCLA and LA Soul soccer player, amongst other teams as well, but that's her connection to Los Angeles. So thank you for being here with me today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to start off with a little bit of your background, just kind of basics. So how did you first start playing soccer?
I first started playing soccer. My older sister played soccer. She was a couple years ahead. And I actually was in the other sports. I was playing baseball, basketball, football. And I remember my mom signed me up for soccer. And I was super excited because I came home and I'm like, oh, this flag football league is starting and I want to join it. And my mom's like, I signed you up for soccer. And it's like, what? And she forced me to do it. She said, you'll have to play the first year. And after that, you can decide. Your sister loves it. I think you'll love it. Let's try it. And really, I showed up having no idea what I was doing, but pretty much fell in love with it right away. So mom was right. Moms do have your best intentions in mind. And, I still love all those other sports, but soccer really clicked. Great community of people. I love the game. As a goalkeeper, just love to fly around. So that was my humble beginnings.
Very, very cool. Did you have a soccer, like somebody that you admired when you were young?
What's funny is, again, my mom was like such an advocate. So she was the one following the 99ers. It's like the Mia Hamm, Michelle Akers, all these people were kind of household names. But at the time, I just wanted to play, I'm like, couldn't be bothered watching anybody. So, people had these different heroes and it was kind of through my mom and my sister, just like sharing this network of stories. I didn't really get plugged in until that 99 World Cup. I remember sitting in the living room watching that game, cheering. And so, obviously watching Brianna Scurry, but I think Michelle Akers kind of like steals your heart, just like this amazing player, the Julie Foudys, all those people were the dream team for me. So that was the original, like, wow, these are stars.
Yeah. We're the same age group, so I think we both can relate to that, just that 99, World Cup. So
yeah.
So then so you started playing at a young age. How was your soccer journey? And like, can you take us through, did you play in high school? And then, I've kind of already alluded to it at UCLA and
right.
so on.
So I played once I started, I think in late middle school, then it was like on with soccer. And so doing all these kind of different teams and getting after it. I did play high school. I played club. I got to play with the Olympic development team, which was a really huge avenue at the time. And so that was how I kind of channeled into the youth national teams. So at the beginning of high school, I started getting called up to kind of international events. There was an Adidas All-Stars trip, just like some really cool events where they invited us to go over and play abroad. It was on that trip I was invited. There were 18 other girls or 17 other girls, and we played a few international games, and Jill Ellis was the coach. And so she was the UCLA connection. So I think that's where she got to spot me and really see me as a player because, I'm only 5'7", which is a little bit small for goalkeepers, but she could see like the intensity and how much I wanted it and the excitement and the passion. And I think, being a good teammate and all of those things. So that was like a really great opportunity for me. But everything, once you start getting called into stuff and follow the opportunities, you play with these amazing players, you get inspired, and you keep wanting to push and be around players that are just as excited about the game and inspired as you are. So that really just opened up a lot of pathways for youth national team and for getting recruited. I ended up going to UCLA. At the time, I got to take all my visits. Now an official visit comes senior year. It's almost like, kids get recruited earlier than that. but I got to take different visits and check it out, and UCLA just felt like home. So the moment I stepped on that campus, you look around and it's this gorgeous place, and it just felt like a magical place that I wanted to be a part of. And the soccer just completed that. So I had my, soccer family there, did all the things. And then when I ended up getting drafted to LA, it was kind of the natural progression of like, oh, this is my soccer community already. And like, awesome. Take a little move down to Redondo Beach and do that.
Very, very nice. Yeah. And I can totally, so I went to UCLA as well. And so
Go
definitely,
Bruins.
yeah, go Bruins. I mean, the campus, you kind of just do feel, at home. It's just beautiful. And the soccer program is wonderful as well. So, I mean, it seems like a great opportunity for you. So then you, you said you were drafted. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so all during my college playing years, there was no league, and so we had known, about the WUSA, which had since folded, and it was kind of like, oh, there's no women's professional soccer in the U.S. I had a teammate, Lindsay Greco, who was a super senior when I was a freshman. She went on and played in Sweden, so I always thought, okay, there's no professional in the U.S. I'll go play abroad. Which would be awesome because, soccer did enliven and spark my interest in going abroad and seeing different cultures and seeing the game everywhere else.
Right.
But I was really fortunate. Coming up to my senior year, there were started to be these talks and the league started. So I did get drafted. It did, it was I think there was a combine, which I actually missed because I was doing my abroad in Spain. And luckily I had done, I guess, well enough during my Pally Blues times and during UCLA to get drafted. But yeah, they did a normal draft for each of the teams. They allocated national team players, which I wasn't part of that pool, but each team had a few national team players. And then I got picked up by LA. Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like it was just perfect timing. Like there wasn't necessarily a track prior to that. There wasn't a track for women to go from the from the collegiate level to a professional level. And then the timing worked out perfect, and that the league was starting up, and that there was this draft opportunity.
Exactly. Because I think at the time, most players were like, all right, well, after college, that'll kind of be it. And my senior day is that's it. And then this league coming up, a lot of players now are like, I can do more. I can go on and have something else to strive for, which is so cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. So then that brings us to your time with LA Soul. Do you have like a favorite memory of when you were playing there? Just being around the fans. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about like the supporter groups environment, or just the fan environment, because I'm not really sure if there was a supporter group at the time for LA Soul.
Yeah. I mean, LA, gosh, the experience was so cool. So we played it was called the Home Depot Center at the time.
Yep.
And so I just remember I had gotten to train there in the front fields that you lead into with the national team. That was kind of a really standard place that we would go for 10 days at a time and train with the national team. So I was familiar with the facility, being pristine, being a great place to train, but then getting to go play games in the stadium was very cool. And it felt like such a professional environment. So I remember that opening day, getting out there and just, it felt like we had arrived. It was very professionally run. You come in the locker room, your uniforms are there, you get ready, you're watching a little bit of video before the game, and then you step out, into the stadium and look around. And there was a really good following of fans there at that time. I will say, in terms of a supporter group, I don't want to throw LA under the bus, and I might throw myself under the bus for not knowing or remembering, but in the professionals, the real support league that I remember was when I played in Philly. They nicknamed themselves the Cheesesteaks, and they were like at every game and really in it, and there were people that were just kind of diehard and being around. And I don't know if that's because we played in a smaller venue, and so they could get a little bit closer to us. Because LA was like so professionally. There was the mix zone. We were allowed to do autographs for 10 minutes, and then they took us away from the field. But I did feel like, I would have loved to do more engagement with the fans. I would have loved to get more involved and get to kind of be more street level,
Mhm.
and do some of the tailgating ahead of time.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were really, I mean, not as a player tailgating, but
No,
maybe
no, no, I
close
know
to
what you
that,
mean,
see
yeah.
more of it. More of that excitement around it, because I think that's what really draws fans in is, you guys get to have an experience and community within it, and then get to have like little bit of touches and interactions with the pros. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
definitely.
something, it sounds like a voice like yours, and having those supporter groups. I mean, I think that would make it such a cool experience for the fans and for the players.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to do, you know. Well, I mean, right now it's a little bit difficult because of the pandemic, of course, but we're hoping to have mixers, watch parties, tailgating, that type of stuff where we can really create
Yeah,
a family environment for not only the fans but the players, we can connect on that level.
yeah, and
Uh,
get your drum kit out there, and
yeah,
smoke
our
on the field and all
flags,
those.
our banners, everything, chanting. Yes,
Exactly. I
that's
think if there's a city to look at what they're doing, I mean, check out Portland. They do the banners
they have a
and they get so involved. That's a really cool venue.
yeah, we're hoping to create that, a similar just environment here in Los Angeles. So I'm looking
Yeah, and
forward.
I would say LA wide, there got to be way more fans and way more people that are knowledgeable about soccer. I mean, the youth soccer in LA is so strong and so good. We just need more of those people to come out and get excited about their local pro team.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now that we do have a team in Los Angeles, well, we will starting 2022. And so maybe, as a person who has lived here, played soccer in Los Angeles, a California native, is there something that you would like to see from this LA soccer team, and to really foster not only the youth but also making those connections with our local universities, UCLA, USC. um,
Oh, the Trojans, we can do it without the Trojans.
no, but do you think there's some ideas that or some programs that could be put forward in order to really foster soccer in Los Angeles?
Well, first, I just want to give a shout out to the leadership and ownership and the people coming in to make this happen in the first place. I mean, some of those stars and heroes that I mentioned at the beginning, they have been through it and they know, and they're so ingrained. So I feel like this program is in such good hands. You're going to have the right backing, you have a diversity of backing, and then you have all of these just like amazing soccer brains and passionate women that are so fierce and just so rad, that are going to be behind it. So I feel like you guys are in such good hands, and they will help and figure that out. um, I think just having them be involved in it, the buzz around it, I mean, all eyes are going to be on LA, but it's hard for me to just want to throw out ideas. But I think those mixers, getting together, I mean, the partnership, UCLA should be coming out there, pros could be going out there, to the UCLA games and the other schools games, but even the Cal State Dominguez Hills and a lot of these, could be partnering, and there's just like so much inspiration that could be happening across the board. Cal State LA, like there are just fantastic players all across LA. I think for me, the key would probably be connecting with those youth clubs, and then connecting. I hope I'm not shooting in the dark here, but I feel like the fan base that we've always gone after with women's sports has been young girls.
Mhm.
And for me, it's so much more than that. So when you look at the buzz around the World Cup, I mean, you have true sports fans of all kinds, young men, young women, older women, girls and boys. We should dig deeper than only young girls fan base, would be my take on it. It's a family event. It's a kids in college event, like all those, we had all the water polo guys, all the football guys coming out to our soccer games. Why can't the water polo and football guys, once they've graduated, come out and watch women's soccer? Like it should be a full event,
Mhm.
and get everybody in there.
Yeah.
So I would just say dig deeper on bringing a wider um, base in. You know, look
I
at the
love
football games. Who are they drawing? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. Bring everybody together. I mean, this is one team that we have here in Los Angeles. Let's bring everybody together, everybody's, just like the diversity that makes up Los Angeles. Let's bring everybody together. I love that. Yeah. So, so tell us what you're up to now. From my understanding, you have a role at the Peninsula Soccer Club. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. So we're a club youth soccer program up. We're south of San Francisco in Foster City. My club's got about 43 teams. I'm the director of coaching there. So I coach one of the high school girls teams, and then I oversee all the other programs. Right now we're fighting and battling through COVID time. So we're not able to compete right now, but we have gotten in small group trainings with social distance. So everything's adapted. But overall, my job is to just kind of oversee the experience that these kids are getting. And so, our club values is it joyful? Are we giving them the best possible experience that they can? Are we helping them fall in love with the game? And then are we giving them the tools to be successful on the field long term? So not only are we going to look for success through winning, but we're going to look through success of, do I understand how to play the game? Can I make autonomous decisions? And then success off the field is, have I built out my players' leadership? Do they feel confident having a voice? Do they feel confident going through adversity when, they're having a tough time? Can they have power over their bodies to do better? And so I think those are the life skills that I am really passionate about in the long run. Is not everybody gets to play pro. And I say I worked really hard to get to play pro. But also I got to, there were a lot of things that came together well to allow me to have that experience. And part of it is luck, luck in terms of, how I grew up, what I was able to get involved in, who saw me at what time, and, things clicked. But my point being, long-winded point of, not everybody gets to play pro, but everybody should get to have a really great and strong youth experience on a team. It's so important to get to be part of a team and to be working towards a common goal, really in any sport. But soccer is my passion and my love, and I think that's something that I can help share and impart.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you're using really soccer as just this vehicle for social change, because you're not only are they learning skills that they use on the field, but they're learning skills that it's going to make them better people in the future. And so that's wonderful.
Yeah, when you say social change, I mean, there's so much going on right now. It makes me really question myself of like, there's so much more that we could be doing. So I don't want to come here and pretend that we're like doing everything perfectly. I care about those life skills off the field and what they're learning, but we really could dig so much deeper in terms of trying to be more inclusive and finding ways and breaking some of the financial boundaries and things like that. So, it's a work in progress for sure.
Yeah, but you acknowledge that and you're conscious of that, and that's great. I think that's a start. What's one of your favorite things with working with the youth?
Oh gosh, just their joy for the game, how much they love it, and how much you can progress at that stage. When you're younger, it's like some of the entry level, you could have an 8-year-old that's never played before, and in 6 months you see the progression this big. Same thing with a 15-year-old, and these kids are so eager to learn and so eager to have a fun, exciting environment. The friendships really excite me, and seeing them laugh and have a good time with each other. Because I remember that was such a big part of my experience, is, making friends and feeling like you have a place that's your place and where you're comfortable in a safe space, even when you're competing. That's where my true passion is like when the girls don't want to leave the field, they're like, oh, practice is over. Or when the girls are really getting competitive and, just giving each other a hard time in a good way. That just lights me up, makes me so excited. And when I see the coaches out there in my director role, when you see other coaches that are just so into it and so passionate, and you see the smiles, that's really what it's about.
Oh, I love that. Well, so I'd like to kind of wrap everything up together and see if maybe there's some advice that you could give young women, young athletes who do want to play professional soccer in the future. Like, what's something that you would give would tell them based on your experience?
So, universally, get in a place where you can grow. So get in a place where you feel like people care about you, where you're challenged, where you're learning, and where you feel safe pushing yourself. So it's kind of that you don't want to feel too safe. Your foundational needs need to be met, but then you want to be challenged and pushed and be around other people that have those similar goals as you. And my advice is don't put a ceiling on yourself. So our job as coaches and mentors and leaders is to help build you bridges and pathways. Get on those bridges and pathways, build them for yourself. You know, there's so much that you can do and change. You control your attitude every day, basically. And so bring with you the attitude that you can get better, that you can succeed. Whatever you wake up with on that day, these are my circumstances, change them to make it better for you and for those around you. And I just think that's what translates to literally anything that you're doing, any sport, any job, any situation, is assess what you have and figure out how to make it better for yourself and for others.
Very nice. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me. This is just wonderful to hear kind of your perspective and really to hear this advice. Your stories are great too. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. And yeah,
Shout out to my girl Lauren Cheney for being a part of this trend. That's some other Bruins for life. I'm really glad she's part of it. I'm just proud of us and proud of women's soccer and all the leaders that are in it. Like, I hope you guys have an awesome time. I can't wait to get down there for some games in 2022.
Yes, you'll have to join us. Yes.
That's right. All right.
All right. Thank you.